Hi there everyone. I've been asked a couple of questions about foam rolling this week that I thought I'd answer in a couple of short videos. So this first video I'm going to be talking a little bit about the sort of science behind foam rolling. There have been a few studies done on foam rolling and whether or not it's beneficial and why it's beneficial. The majority of them have looked into pre-workout foam rolling. I'm guessing most of them are focused on it because it's easier to measure a clear outcome of the foam rolling. If you foam roll before and then you get an athlete or to do a particular exercise or a particular kind of sport routine, running routine, and you can test the difference by seeing any differences in performance in those workouts that they do post a foam rolling session. So for example, if you look across multiple different studies, compare the results, you can see a small increase in sprint performance, less than 1%. You can see an improvement in flexibility amongst athletes after a pre-workout foam rolling session. Again, quite a small percentage improvement. Does that mean that we have to be doing all our foam rolling before we go out running? Not necessarily. I think it depends a little person to person. So if, for example, you're the sort of person that spent a long day, sat down at a desk, in a car, driving, basically spent the day not moving very much, then your body would probably benefit from a pre-run foam rolling session, almost as part of a bit of a warm-up. You have to have a little bit of a workout in order to position yourself correctly on the foam roller and move yourself around, gets a bit of flexibility in those muscles, kind of thaws you out from that sort of stationary position that you might have solidified into a little bit throughout the day. So that's helpful, say, for example, if you're doing your runs after a long day at work. You might be one of those people that has particular muscles that are just a little bit generally tighter than others. So for me, my hamstrings are always a little bit on the tight side. So for me, some post-run foam rolling onto the hamstrings just means that they don't tighten up quite as much after a workout, alongside a bit of a stretching session of some key muscles as well. Again, it does vary a little bit person to person. Some of us will tighten up more commonly, particularly with, for example, stress or the cold. Others are quite flexible and our muscles are quite kind of agile and elastic, and we don't need to do as much foam rolling or stretching anyway. So it does vary person to person. No one size fits all, as with many things in running. The other thing to think about is whether or not you've got specific areas that you've perhaps had niggles or tightness or maybe even injuries before. So if you've had advice from a physio to use foam rolling as part of a rehab routine for a particular injury, then it's definitely something worthwhile keeping up with. If you know that you've got a little bit of a history of tight calves, for example, and you know that if you neglect them for a few weeks, they will just keep getting tighter and then start becoming sore, then yeah, absolutely. Adding some foam rolling into those calves. It could be pre-run, post-run, whenever you remember at random times during the week, whatever works for you. Hope that's helpful.